Hello. Do you think that you qualify for a down payment assistance program, or perhaps that you qualify for FHA because it is your first time home? Well, we're going to show you today. There are a few myths that we need to debunk in order to get you qualified to purchase a home. I'm here with my good friend, Kim Schoning, lender extraordinaire. What company are you with now?
I'm with Capital City Home Loans.
She's been doing a great job for me. And I asked her to come in and talk with us about some of the programs that are being offered here in the great state of Georgia. And the number one that I keep hearing about is Georgia Dream.
Yes.
Basically, people ask me all the time, can I get down payment assistance? What's this program about? And things like that. And I'll be honest, I didn't know all the answers. So we spoke and found out a whole bunch of new stuff. So why don't you tell me the truth about the program?
Okay. So Georgia Dream can be a good program for certain people, but there are some stipulations that everybody needs to be aware of. There are certain income limits and there are certain credit score requirements. In addition, they do charge a 2% fee. So basically, if you have a $250,000 loan amount, you're going to pay an additional $5,000 in fees.
That's crazy. That's like, I don't know how much of a benefit that is.
Yeah, especially because you do have to pay the money back as well.
Oh, when you pay it back, it's not even forgiven.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe we'll put an on the Georgia Dream unless it fits your needs, and we can discuss those.
Yes, there are some circumstances where it does make sense.
Okay, but for the most part, I think we're learning across the board that income limits are becoming an issue, because in order to make the money and qualify for a house, you have to make that money. It's kind of a catch-22.
Yes, it is definitely catch-22. There's another great program that is forgiven after 5 years, and I've utilized it quite a bit. And the only downfall to that is the income limits are often quite low.
What's the name of the program?
And that one's called FHLB, which is Federal Home Loan Bank.
Okay.
It gives $7,500 for down payment and closing cost assistance. If you're a community worker, which would be healthcare, education, police, fire, you get $10,000, and it's forgiven after 5 years at a rate of 20% per year. So even if you don't live in the house the entire 5 years, some of it is still forgiven. But the downfall is the income limits are a little bit low. Yeah. So the people who do qualify for that program are having a challenging time finding a property.
What is the income limit there? Do you remember?
Well, it varies by county. I did look it up just the other day. For Gwinnett County, for a family of 3, it is about $76,000.
Oh, that makes it tough to find a house. We'll see with the market changing what that's really going to look like. But yikes, that's going to be a tough one too. What other down payment assistance programs are that are local? That I get people who ask all the time, and it's a tough thing because it feels like every program is restricted by your income, just as the same as you qualify by making enough money. You qualify if you make too much. You don't qualify if you make too much money on these programs. So it's kind of brutal. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the misnomer of an FHA or a first-time homebuyer program. Everybody wants to know, how do I qualify for that? And do I have to just be a first-time homebuyer?
Yeah, that's a great question, because that's the question I get all the time. Yeah. Someone will call me and tell me that they're a first-time home buyer, or they're not a first-time home buyer, so they don't think they can qualify for FHA. FHA is simply a program similar to conventional. It's just a program that we utilize, but you do not have to be a first-time home buyer to utilize it. It just requires a 3.5% down, and you can use it many times. You just can't have 2 FHA loans at the same time.
And that's a huge misconception that a lot of buyers have, is that I'm a first-time home buyer, so I qualify for FHA. Well, that's not how it really works. I've had clients who are buying a replacement property, use an FHA loan to purchase it if they're going to sell the other one. I've also had, retirees who bought 5 homes. It doesn't have to be your first home. It doesn't have to be any of those things. So it's not really a first-time home buyer program. It is geared toward that because it does require less money down.
That's correct.
And one other thing that people often say to me too is, what is the minimum amount that anybody can put down?
So with FHA, it's 3.5%.
And it's 3.5% no matter what. Correct. Even if you ask the seller for $10,000 credit, you still have to come up with 3.5% no matter what. So no matter what, you have to put down 3.5% of your purchase price. That is crucial in understanding the buying process.
That is correct. I will say your earnest money counts towards that 3.5%, as well as the appraisal fee can count towards that 3.5%.
Yeah.
So if the seller is paying all of the closing costs, you get credit for those towards your down payment.
Okay. But again, no matter what, when you're walking in the door and you're writing an offer, you still have to have 3.5%.
That is correct.
And that is pretty much the minimum down unless you qualify for these other kind of non-existent down payment assistance programs, because we can't find homes that qualify. So on that kind of misnoming loan situation, I had a great talk with her about a program that I think is amazing for people who are looking to get into a property still and are worried about interest rates. So talk to me about that.
Yeah, so we have a great portfolio product. It's running probably about 1% below where conventional interest rates are running. That equates to some huge savings every month. I ran the numbers on a gentleman yesterday at a $650,000 purchase price, and it saved him about $345 a month on his monthly payment. So one, of course, it's savings, and two, it helps him qualify.
That's amazing. Yeah. Wow. $350 and $650, that's quite a bit of money.
That's correct.
That's like groceries.
It is, absolutely. I would say a car payment, but car payments have changed.
So what does that program entail? Is it like an ARM, or what? Talk to me about what the other part of it is.
Yes, it is an ARM. However, it's fixed for 10 years. And an interesting fact, the U.S. Census said from 2010 until 2020, only 30% of the people were still in the same home in that 10-year span. So, most likely in that 10-year span, you'll probably move up to a bigger house or downsize to a smaller house, or, interest rates will most likely go down at some point. We don't know for sure, but the market's very cyclical.
We have to be careful what we say.
Exactly. I would assume at some point they may, and so you may refinance and pull some cash out to fix your house up or whatever the case may be in that 10-year
I will
period.
say, in my experience, as well as the National Association of Realtors, states that most people stay in their homes for about 5 years. I know I hear it all the time. This is my forever home. I'm never leaving, this, that, and the other thing. And that's not usually how it happens. 10 years is quite a bit of time to get yourself figured out to either refinance or move on or whatever, especially if you're saving $350 a month. I mean, makes sense to me.
That's a huge savings. And it does require 10% down.
The 10% down thing, we can ask for some of the credit from the seller if we needed, right?
Well, the 10% is still the down payment, right?
Okay.
So the credit from the seller would be for closing costs. But that brings up a good point as far as where people can get their down payment.
Okay.
Quite often people don't realize that if they have a 401k loan, they can borrow against that with very favorable terms.
Yeah.
So, that's something
Especially,
to consider.
What are people's 401ks doing for them right now anyway?
Yep. Might be better to put it into real estate.
Different topic. Different topic. All right. Well, if you guys have any more questions for Kim or I, please go ahead and reach out to either one of us. My number is 470-326-7077. You can find me at jenniferingeorgia.com and
404-849-6086. kshoning.cchl.com.
We'll put it all out here for you. Like I said, please reach out with any questions. I know the market's shifting, but we're happy to help with honest feedback about what to do. So thanks for tuning in. We'll chat later.